When you think about all of the details that go around your estate plan, this sounds big and complicated, like to get your life, to get a system, to have all of your details of your life captured. But the big picture of what you're thinking about is goes back to those journalistic questions, the who, what, where, when, why. And the big focus is who needs this information? Where is it stored? What information needs to be stored? Can they get it when they need it? And why? Like, why even do this? Okay, does that make sense? Like, it's the same questions we ask when we're throwing a party, when we're planning a vacation, like any project that you do, you're asking who needs it? What do they need? Will they have it when they need it? Where is it stored? And like, why do they need this? Okay, we're not giving our most personal information to everyone. Like, this person needs it because they are the person that's going to take care of my cat if something happens to me. They are the person that will be entrusted with making medical decisions if something happens to me. And in so many things in the world, understanding your why is super important because the why is the renewable resource. It's the renewable fuel that powers you through a big project. Again, using the idea of a vacation, like why spend hours looking at flights and hotel and Airbnb options? Oh, because I want to go to Hawaii. Like, that's the why, is because I want to go to Hawaii and all the hours, or I want to go see my kid. Like, all the hours that it takes me to make that happen, to figure out what airline to fly on. If I stay connected to seeing my kid at the end, like, I'll just keep going. And that's what I mean by the renewal resource. So I want to start off today by tapping directly, you see how excited I get, by tapping directly into that renewable resource with just a little squinch of hypnosis. So my hypnosis friends that are on the call will recognize what we're doing. If you are driving, obviously do not do this. Hum to yourself while we do this. And does anyone have any hypnosis hesitations? Do you need me to explain why hypnosis is cool? I don't see anybody raising their hand. No comments. Okay, we're gonna just do it. So what I want you to do, settle in, get comfortable, squinch in your chair. Take a big breath in, let it out twice as long. Another breath in, and just let it out, letting go with it, all of the things that are not this moment. One more breath in, and just letting go of everything but this moment. And now I want you to place your hands on your lap, palms up, and I want you to bring all of your attention to the palm of your right hand. Imagine holding your attention like a tennis ball in the palm of your right hand. And then bring your attention up to the inside of your right elbow. And up to your right shoulder, all of your attention settling in on your right shoulder. Over to your left shoulder, the inside of your left elbow, the palm of your left hand, We're going to make that loop again, and like a spiral, just let that take you deeper. Every moment that your attention is focused on your hand, let it take you deeper. Into your right elbow and deeper. To your right shoulder and your left shoulder, and deeper into your left elbow and your left palm. And in this last loop, let your attention settle even deeper into your own wisdom. Your right palm, your right elbow, your right shoulder, your left shoulder, your left elbow, and into the palm of your left hand. And now I want you to bring all of your attention into your heart. Your heart has a wisdom that's all its own. And ask your heart, why is making a plan important to me? Just let your heart answer with whatever it wants to share. Just letting it settle. If your head tries to butt in, your head will get a turn. This is for your heart to know. And then bring your attention down into your belly, into your gut. We have gut instincts. We have a wisdom in our gut. Ask your gut, why does making a plan matter? Who is this for? And just let your gut share the wisdom that it has for you. When that feels complete, gather the wisdom that your gut shared and your heart shared and bring it up into your mind and let it integrate. Let it integrate. Ask your mind, what do you know now, having heard from the wisdom of your own wise heart and your own wise gut? When that feels complete, there's no rush. But when that feels complete, you'll feel the urge to kind of yawn and stretch and come back to the room. And I want to offer the chance to share if something came up for anyone. If you got any little bits of wisdom from your own sweetheart. And if not, no worries. Oh, peace. I love that. I will share, I'm doing this right along with you. What comes up for me is I want to take care of the people the way I'm going to cry, the way that Kevin and I set me up to make this post mortem period easier. I want that for my kids too. That's why that matters to me, is I don't want to leave them a mess. Give you one more. If anyone else wants to share anything, if you want to witness and hear your own voice say it, I want to give you the opportunity. All right, moving on. We're going to dive in now to what those most critical pieces of information are. And if you have your worksheet, not everyone has it, I'm going to just read it. And I want you to, thank you, Margot. My why is to reduce the stress of the situation and to provide a guided plan. That's it. Exactly. And I will tell you, it matters. Okay, I'm going to keep choking up. The first most critical pieces of information that your next of kin needs, and your next of kin can be your partner. Like in my situation, now it's my children. If I didn't have children, it could be a trusted friend, it could be a paid advisor. Like just thinking in this moment, does everyone in the call know who their next of kin is? Who they're making this for? I'm seeing lots of nods of heads. If you don't know who your next of kin is and you need some help picking that, give me a shout. Okay, it looks like everybody has that. Okay, your next of kin needs to be able to get into your phone. So if you have a phone passcode, they need to know it. And I have a spot for you to write it down. And we're going to talk about security in a minute. You can shred this document, but they need to know what your phone password is. Ooh, how do you pick a next of kin when you don't have a partner? Lisa, what do you want to come off mute?
Hi.
Hey, Lisa. So think about, who would you call in case of emergency? We're going to write that person down next after we have these pieces of information. But do you have a friend or a cousin or your mom, or who would you call in case of an emergency?
Probably my mom. But I think that the part that stumped me in asking you that question is obviously anything can happen, as we all know.
Yes.
But in the natural trajectory of life, I will likely outlive my parents. And I have a brother,
Yeah.
and he's in Florida. Like no one, I guess, it depends on the emergency because like my parents don't live in the same state, nor does my brother. I have a best friend here, but what if she's not around? So it's like that's where my brain starts to be like, how many next of kin do I need? Because some are
Let's,
geographically local and others are not, and I will likely outlive some of them.
that brings up two important points. The first is, this is a living document. Like the whole treasure map system of which this is a part is not a one and done. It becomes like the organizing principle for your household. So if your next of kin is your mom and something happens to your mom, then this needs to be updated. And if it's, we are gonna, let's do emergency context first then, and then we'll come back to the things that they need. That first emergency contact is the next of kin, most likely. That's who I just had to get a new emergency contact. I had to ask my neighbor, like, will you be my emergency contact now? Because my kids live too far and I'm single now. So everyone just write down who that first emergency contact is. And again, if you get stumped, just shout it out. Okay,
Can I ask a
please.
question?
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize I was as stumped as I am about this.
See,
And
that's why these seem so obvious, but when you go to write them down, you're like, it is
right,
a little trickier. Yes, please.
my daughter is my first, is closest to me geographically and is an obvious choice for my next of kin. And if I'm the one contacting my daughter saying, hey, you're in charge now, that makes sense. But in my imagination, someone else is going to contact my daughter. And who's that person?
That is a very good question. And
I'm
the answer
confused.
to that is I would put her in your phone, and how you
Mm.
put her in your phone depends on which phone you have. As like Apple for sure, and I'm sure Android is the same way, they have an emergency contact.
Allie,
Yeah,
those
please.
contacts, if you use Apple's procedure for adding your emergency, it's called the ICE contact, which is
Yes,
sad given what's going on. But they are able to actually view that even if your phone is locked, it will show up on your screen.
thank
So
you.
definitely follow Apple's directions on how to do that.
And I'm imagining Android has a similar system.
That's perfect. Thank you.
I just looked it up on Android. Or I have an Android, but it says to set an emergency contact on Android, go to settings, and then there's a safety and emergency contact section for you to add that information.
So everyone do that today. Okay, the secondary contact is an interesting thing. Like, it's great to have a second person, but this particular one is a relay person. So if you live in an area where there is a disaster, I was an East Coast girl during Hurricane Sandy, a lot of friends in forest fire areas. If there's a natural disaster, oftentimes you can't call, like I couldn't call Kevin when I lived in New Jersey because like those particular cell phones were overloaded, but I could have called my brother in Iowa, and my husband could have called my brother in Iowa, and we could have conveyed, I'm safe, through a secondary, a relay contact. So think about who that might be, especially if you live in an area where disasters happen, which sadly feels like it's every place now. Maybe Michigan's fine. I don't know. That's the second one. The other one, the third one, is the closest friend or neighbor that can get into your house. Okay, you should have someone in the area that could access your house if needed. Okay, pipe burst, you're on vacation, your little water meter sends a note to your Apple phone, you want someone to be able to get into your house. Okay, that thing that was not supposed to be coming for months, and porch pirates, they deliver your Tiffany ring, you want someone to bring that in. And it's good to be thinking about those things now. You need someone to go get your cat. That's someone needs access to your house. Does everyone have those three written down? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah. There's like a ton more we could talk about emergency contacts, but this is the big picture. Okay. Going back now, thinking who your emergency contacts are. They need your phone passcode, your computer login, so whatever that is that unlocks your computer screen. And they need to know a location for your other passwords. And those almost bifurcate a little bit. Like I would say phone passcode, computer login, and your garage code or gate code if you live in a gated community. Like that for sure I would give to your emergency contact. But in our household, like I also want my next of kin for this would be my daughter, and I want her to have access. I have all my passwords online. So she has a login. She's my secondary contact and my password keeper. If your passwords are in a little index box or you've got a book, just someone needs to know where that book is. Okay? Does anyone have any questions about that part? Does everyone have it literally written down? Does anyone not have it written down? Because the point is to have it all written down.
I have all my passcodes in a data manager online, and it's backed up on the cloud. And my daughter has the password to get into it in case of emergency. But if she loses that password, like I had my son used to have it all too, and he wound up, his phone died and he hadn't backed it up and he lost everything. Do you have thoughts about that?
My thought is to have some sort of paper backup.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
in your, I would have, it's funny because I usually have 100 index cards on my desk, but I would have a little piece of paper. What does this say? This is the mantra from Treasure Map. People might remember from the beta group. But I would have a little index card tucked in with your important documents, wherever you keep your passport, your titles to your car. I would have a backup, probably index card there. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Like in the fire safe, I see someone
Yes,
saying, yeah,
exactly.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Lisa's saying keep it in your safe too. I recommend that you keep those documents in your waterproof, fireproof safe. Anything that's a pain to get a copy of, my passport, all of that's in a waterproof, fireproof safe.
Mm.
Okay. So does everyone feel good? Move to the next section. Next section is these three important documents that sit right alongside your will or trust. And before Kevin and I were in this situation we were in, I had a little bit of confusion about those documents in my like bonus resource for Treasure Map. I call it the peace of mind papers. Do people here know, or maybe I'll just cover quickly what a medical power of attorney is, what a financial power of attorney is, and what the advance directive are. Does that sound good? Yeah, I'm going to assume that sounds good. Medical power of attorney is now very frequently called a healthcare proxy. So MPOA and HCP are the same document. What that does is it designates who your decision maker is. If something happens to me, my daughter makes medical decisions. Like I have a local person as well that could literally get to the hospital for the time it takes for my daughter to physically get here. But that document designates that Jim can make decisions and Catherine can make decisions. So that is the who. And your doctor's office, any hospital will have copies of this. Your lawyer will have copies of this. And the state, if you do Utah healthcare proxy in a Google search, you can find your state will have copies of this document. Get your state's copy. Okay. That's why lawyers are a great option because they are operating, they're licensed in your state. But you can do this for free if you don't have a lawyer yet and get a medical power of attorney. If you have adult children, they need a medical power of attorney too, right? It's heartbreaking, but shit happens to 25-year-olds. And you don't necessarily have access to make those decisions because they are legal adults. And if they are in a partnered relationship, but not a married relationship, their partner doesn't necessarily have access. So any adult children need this document too. The
Won't they
difference
just
between,
go? Won't they
pardon?
just go to their next of kin for the decision? Won't they just choose
Who's there?
whoever is the closest relative?
This is cleaner.
Okay.
This is cleaner because having had children in tough medical situations, yes, and I would still do this. The other thing is advanced directives. So power of attorney is the who, advanced directives is the what. That is the easiest way. Living will, advanced directive is another way to say living will and advanced directives are the same thing. That's the what. That's all the icky conversations about, do you want to be intubated? Do you want, what kind of life support do you want? And both of those documents, same thing. They are available in all the same places. Ask your doctor, ask your hospital, do a Google search. These are really great because having been in the situation where I had to make choices, having had those conversations with Kevin, like I knew what he wanted. And the way it works in Utah, like I still had the advanced directive didn't override, like I still had the choice. The way it worked in Utah, I could still say. But those working together gave me what I needed, like when I was sitting in the room with the palliative care team. Does anyone have any questions about the difference between those two? Nope. Good. Okay. Medical is taking care of. Financial is just what it sounds like. And the tricky piece with financial power of attorneys is there has been enough financial fraud that you don't, your legal, like your lawyer's version may not be enough to make your life easy. And if you all can see Cindy Olney's like lovely face nodding, if you bank with a big bank, Chase, BOA, Wells Fargo, any of the big banks, you want to fill out their forms because they will and have given people a very hard time who had a durable power of attorney but didn't have their durable power of attorney. Cindy put in there, very important point, investment companies also. So if your retirement funds are with Fidelity, sign their forms too. It's a small amount of effort to solve a big amount of problem down the road. All right. Most of those forms probably need to be notarized. Notaries are super easy to come by. Our library has notaries, banks have notaries, DMVs have notaries. They're super easy. Yes, Bianca is saying she needed that form, the bank form, to get into her safety deposit box as well. Okay, these are super important. They're not that hard to do and they're super important to have. Yeah. I have many stories as I have been doing this work of people whose loved ones were in, the majority of them in just random car accidents on the way to the bank, on the way to the grocery store, and like just living their life where someone in their family needed access to their money to like literally pay their mortgage, pay their light bills, keep their car payments up to date. And so these are all still really important documents, even if I'm going to highlight, I'm not a lawyer. I am not a finance expert. You should have both of those on your team. All right. The next whole section, I want to talk briefly about security styles, which we touched on a little bit before. Where do you keep all of this potentially sensitive information? Like, where is it stored? So I have a whole quiz inside Treasure Map, and I'm just going to give you the quick and dirty and have you think about where you want to keep this information. So the big like markers, are how, like, where do you already keep your most important information? Anything that's sensitive, where do you already keep? Do you have it online? Is it in a password keeper? Is it in your file cabinet? Are you a paper girl or are you digital? Okay, so just, has everyone got that? Or they already keep their most important information? Yeah? Like, give me some nods. Got it? Okay, so the person that you is your emergency contact, your next of kin, what is their style? Okay. Many of the couples that I've worked with, the husband is all online and the wife is paper, or the wife is all online and the husband's got a dozen sticky notes on his desk. Okay. Just think about your next of kin as well. Both of those are important because you need to update it and your next of kin needs to be able to find it. And if you're in a partnered relationship, you need to know where their stuff is too. This isn't just for you, you need their access. So think about that. And then the third thing, if you're not in a partnered relationship, is like physical proximity. Is the person you need, like for me, it's my daughter. And so a lot of my stuff needs to be digital because she's going to need to manage it from North Carolina. So not just the day of, the week of, the month of, she's going to go home and she's still going to be having to work her way through my estate from North Carolina. So for me, the answer is digital. Does everyone have a clear feel for where they're going to keep this? So you need to be able to update it easily. If you are writing it on a sticky note and it's sitting on your desk and your loved one's going to access it digitally, like you've got to put something in there that step. When I run through it with people in person, I am telling you 90% of people do not have one of these pieces of information. I just did it with a girlfriend. We drink and color as she's a Zoom friend that's long distance. And I ran her through this and she has no idea. Like her husband has no idea what her password is. And that was my situation with Kevin. Okay, these are basic, but these matter because these are a gateway to all the other things. Does anyone have any concerns about online or physical that they want to cover? Super. Thank you.
Would you say that both, I mean, there's no redundancy here, right? Because maybe there's the secondary contact that needs the digital access because of proximity, but then partnered situation would call for possibly a paper file combined together
That's
or access for people like having
a
it
really
both.
great question. Your neighbor doesn't need the same level of information that your true next of kin would need. And so having your neighbor have access to your house, super important. But unless your neighbor is making medical or financial decisions, they don't need that other kind of access. Like worst case, your neighbor could put your laptop and your phone in a box and ship it to your next of kin if your next of kin isn't like living in the same place you are. It's a really important point. You might need 2 layers of access. I have 2 neighbors that both have access to my house because I live in an area where people travel a lot. And so I have 2 neighbors that literally know how to get into my house. Can and do, because I live in a delightful neighborhood where sometimes you come home from vacation and someone has stocked your fridge, which is lovely, I have to say. You could always write everything up on a digital and then also make, yeah, 100%. This is a system, your system is going to be different. Paula's is going to be different than Bianca's, is going to be different than Kiona's. Everyone should have a different system because you have a different life and you have a different setup. All right, does anyone else have any other questions? Some people are concerned about putting things online, so I'm just going to give you the quick digital security. I think online password keepers for my situation are a great solution. I think they are a great solution because they are encrypted and they are an easy way for me to share information with someone who's not physically close. Kevin and I both used online passwords within our marriage and when we were living together so that we could both do things. They have the highest level of encryption and you want to stay on top of it. I check pretty regularly, like once a year, to make sure that the system I'm using is still considered like industry standard of safety. Okay, I used LastPass for a long time. LastPass got hacked a bunch of times. Now I like 1Password. Okay, so they're not perfect, but for my situation, I think that they're great. And they are encrypted. NordPass specifically is encrypted so that they can't even read your documents. Google is encrypted, but it is encrypted at Google. So someone at Google could look at your document because it's encrypted at the Google level. Paper cannot be beat. My issue with paper is I have had several friends whose homes have burned. And so with my personal experience of friends who like literally went to a football game and came home to no home, like that colors my feeling about having physical copies. And so also to manage that, I have a fireproof, waterproof safe, which is my best hack against fire. And we also, Margot lives in my area, like we're a high fire zone. We haven't had any trouble, but my insurance company says we're a high fire zone. And so if you have a paper system, that paper needs a level of protection in your home. Okay, I'm way less worried about thieves breaking in and finding your password book. That's a level of sophistication that seems unlikely, but I do worry about things like your home getting damaged. Okay. We have done legal docs, we have done security style, we've done important contacts. The back page of this, we don't necessarily need to fill out together, but this is a plan for any dependents in your care. So when I think of dependents, I think of children, I think of aging parents that maybe like you are the caregiver that goes over every Sunday and fills your mom's pillbox, or gosh, that makes me want to cry. Because I have so many clients who are active caregivers for their parents. And if something happened to you, there needs to be a plan in place so that someone is notifying that person that you're taking care of. And pets. You certainly want to take care of the animals that you're stewards of. And so I have it broken out. If I can't be there, who Julie will care for Max and can be reached at and that contact information. And if that person, if the dependent is a person, they should have each other's phone numbers. Like that caregiver, they should know something happens to me, Julie will pick you up at school. And then that phone number should be in their phone and your kid's phone number should be in Julie's phone. Julie is clearly a stellar neighbor. Meals, routines, super important. Allergies, quirks, and special needs. When my children were very young, my daughter was super hangry. And so you wanted to meet her after school with a cheese stick, like at arm's length. She needed a snack. Do not greet this child without some graham crackers because things will not go well. And if you're already in a heightened situation, like the things that you write down that can give your child comfort, write them down. If you are in a situation where you do not have any dependents, then just ignore that section. Okay, we're not going to necessarily fill that out now in the interest of time, unless anyone has a strong desire. Do you need 2 minutes to write it down? See thumbs up. Thumbs down. Okay, people have got it. Everyone on the list, two check boxes. Everyone on your list should probably have everyone else's number. So my daughter has my neighbor's phone number. My neighbor has my daughter's phone number. Okay, both neighbors that I would call on in case of emergency have my daughter's phone number and she has theirs. If that next of kin is a legal executor and you have a neighbor that has a key to your house, it's okay for those numbers to be shared, right? We just want to make it easy so it's not a hunt and peck. And last one, access to your house. Does everyone in here have someone in their life that could get into their house as needed? Okay, good. Yay. I want to share a funny story quickly about the phone passcode because that seems like such a dumb thing to write down. But I was literally talking to someone last night who lost their parent in the spring. And she was laughing. We were just basically commiserating like all the dumb, funny things that happen like after you lose someone. And she talked about how they're still paying for the parents' cell phone, but they don't have the passcode, so they can't get in. But they're still hopeful that they're going to be able to get in one day and be able to read and answer any texts or calls that have come through. So they're still paying the monthly cell phone bill for a phone that they literally can't access. So these really basic things matter. It matters. Again, I'm single. Now it matters that my kids can get into my phone and my computer, because if they can do those two things, they can do most of the rest of the things that need to be done. All right. For many of you, this will feel complete. This is enough to get started thinking about your own plan, and having these basics down is enough. And that's beautiful. And I beg you, please go share them with all your family members so everyone in your family is protected in this way. And if you are part of a group that would love to be run through this process, you've got a book club, you're in a caregiver support group, you're a PTA member, whatever, I am happy to do this workshop because I am so passionate about people having what they need. I just cannot imagine how things would have gone if we hadn't been prepared. I would probably still be curled. Like it is so, I can speak from personal experience. Every single task you do is like walking through quick, dry cement. And anything that you can do to make things easier for your loved ones is going to be felt as care. So if this feels complete, thank you for coming. We'll have a spot if anyone has any final questions. If some of you may feel called to do a more comprehensive plan, and if that's you, then what I have put together is the treasure map process. Because for me, it sounds super cheesy, but like I think of our life as a treasure. And what Kevin and I created was a map so that I could unravel the part. And honestly, like there was a bunch of treasure in terms of like retirement accounts and things that I could access once he was gone because we had set this up. Part of the treasure map process is we put our life insurance on auto pay, and that policy would have expired the week that he went into hospice. And I do not know if we hadn't done that proactively, if that money that he had set aside, we had paid into all those years, would have been there for me just because of how the timing went. Okay, so if you are interested in taking things deeper, I have 3 levels of support. There's 3 ways you can do it. A concierge level, I will fly to your house and we will just jam this out in 2 days. Private coaching is great for people who have one area super done, but then other areas want individual attention to like deep dive on some specific areas. They don't want to move at the group pace because they know some areas are complete and some areas they want to spend their time thinking about the areas that need more attention. And the third level is there would be a group program starting in January, both, which all 3 levels, you're going to get the same end result. They're not even levels. All 3 ways of doing this, you're going to get the same result. You're going to get a plan that your people can use if something happens to you. And then that plan becomes the operating way that your family runs. You get something new, you update this. You sell this house, right where you sell this car, right where your titles are, you put your new title in. And all of it can be found at allieirwin.com/treasure-map, but I will send that link out with a replay. That is the gist of it. Does anyone have any questions? Is there anything that you were hoping we would cover today that we didn't?
I want to thank you for doing this, Allie, because I've been watching my elderly parents very closely, and I've been not taking proactive action in putting some of these things together to have ready. So this is just like a good kick in the butt. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Let me ask you this, Mara. Do you have any hesitation about having these conversations?
I don't, but they do. They do. So it has been, we've had some of these conversations, but it has not been an easy get some of this information. It's that's what I'm trying to figure out how to navigate reluctant parents, elderly parents.
Yes. My first suggestion, and I know that you know this well, is for you to ground into your own why. And then your own why becomes an anchor in that conversation so that they can have whatever reaction they're having without throwing you. In the hypnosis community, we call that an abreaction, which I don't love that term, but it's basically a reaction that people have to throw you off doing what you need to be doing. And the loving way to handle an abreaction is for you to stay grounded in your why, so that if you think of like a boat with an anchor, right, that can blow you around, and you can't force people to give you this information. But your best bet in the conversation is to anchor in and use whatever like, I know that you're a coach and you have many anti-anxiety techniques. But even as simple as keeping your breathing slow and regular while they're having their reaction will change the whole interaction. Does that make sense? And like knowing there's a term for it even always helps me. That's just an abreaction. We get that all the time. We get that with our kids. We get that with our partners. We throw them. And the loving thing to do is to stay anchored so that you can help them make a plan. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions?
I have a question.
Let's hear it.
Sorry. Sorry if you hear dogs looking in the background. They're being crazy. And now I've lost my question, but I do have a question. It'll come back to me. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Brain fog, you guys. It is real in menopause.
Everyone is.
Oh, I know what it was. I know what it was. Because I was looking at the group program, a question on the one-to-one coaching. When do you, because as you explained that, I'm like, oh, one-to-one coaching might actually be what I want, because we have a lot of our areas done, but we do have holes, like you said. And so when are you starting that one-to-one coaching? Is that like
Tomorrow.
Hey, you can start in December? Okay, that was my question. I don't know that I'm going to be ready by tomorrow, but that helps me plan of, oh, okay, let me see if I can get my husband on board and get some of these things and like figure out, okay, where are holes where I know that we could ask you questions and have some coaching around it. So that was my
Within
question.
that one-to-one, you're going to get the same guided syllabus, which I did not cover because you all would be like, but like I have a plan that we're going to use for all three levels, all three ways, all three experiences that will step you through and identify where the holes are, because you could have 80% of one area and then that 20%, like going through sort of a checklist, that 20%, you'll be like, oh shit, I forgot about that. And the other benefit of the one-on-one is you have time flexibility. So if you want to do 2 hours on a Saturday, you can do once a week. You can do Monday, Thursday. You can do 2 hours on a Saturday morning. You have the time flexibility so that it matches with you. And like, I would love it if your partner is there as well. Like, I would love it if Peter came as well, because maybe he has questions that then you don't have to relay. And I have another person that's interested in the one-on-one that I suggested maybe bring your parents to a call. Like, maybe that's a great, like, maybe I can pose all the questions and then it's just a neutral party asking questions if they're interested. Okay, it's 10 to 14 sessions because I don't know how long it's going to take each person to go through. I want it to feel spacious. But if we get it done in 10 and you feel good, there's no reason to prolong it. But those sessions are yours. You can do them any way you want. And the one-on-one people and the group people, the benefit that I found the most juice in when I did the beta test in June is we have co-working sessions. And those sessions, you just show up and do like your homework for that week. I hate to use school analogies. I loved school, so it's like study hall, but study hall sounds terrible. And I have memories of being at study hall staring at Tim Jackson, so it's not terrible for me. But those co-working sessions, you can come and bring your questions to, in addition to your one-on-one sessions. Like, those will be available to both communities, and that starts in January. Mainly because January is fresh start time, right? And like, maybe you do this and it inspires you to do like a whole bunch of financial maintenance. It did for us. We streamlined a bunch of stuff. And now that all our finances are streamlined, now my business, I'm going to treasure map my damn business, because I've been in business for so long that now I'm cutting out, like, why do I have 3 pay systems? Like, to PayPal, because I don't need 3 separate systems. And so my hope is that you all will be nodes that this work will spread out from, and that it will inspire you to do other things in your life, because you are realizing, like, this is helping you realize that our time is limited. Like, we're all burning daylight, and get this done and then go live your life, because you're not spending time looking for your stupid credit card bill that should be on auto pay. The group program cost is $2,500, and it starts January 6th. And it'll be a once-a-week call and 1 to 2 times a week with co-working. All right. Does anyone else have any questions? Going once, going twice. Look at this. We ended on time. Every webinar person's dream. Thank you so much for coming. You will get this replay. The replay is live for, I think, through the weekend, because I want you, if you missed anything, I want you to do it and then be done with it. Like, that time accountability is for you. And to that email, you can ask any questions. And again, if you have a group that you think this would be great for, please let me know, because I just want to spread this work. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thanks, Allie.